All right, now let's talk about investment. Of course, quality is also required to ensure that you can win the confidence of investors. But what about driving impact investment, making it purposeful? Let's discuss that now with the Chief Executive Officer of the Impact Investors Foundation, Mr. Temore Glover. She joins us here in the studio. Good morning, Temore, and thank you for your time. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we talk about money now. I think this is about $100 billion, the Nigeria Impact Fund, Nigeria Wholesale Impact Investment Fund.
But it's a $1 billion fund, just to
$1 billion.
You,
okay.
With a first close of 100 million.
Okay, the first tranche is 100 million, then it's 1 billion on a whole. But sometimes, we hear of these big numbers and wonderful name, wholesale impact investment. How many people really get to know about it? Not even to mention who now gets to access it. And we have a lot of these funds lying, I don't know if to say they're lying fallow or abused, different parts and different sectors in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. The Wholesale Impact Investment Fund is a pioneer initiative of the Impact Investors Foundation through its National Advisory Board for Impact Investment. We identified some challenges in the finance sector in Nigeria, which traditional financing cannot solve. So through the National Advisory Board, we decided to innovate this vehicle, which is a fund of fund, and a market builder. The impact investment sector is a dynamic and growing space, which requires a certain kind of capital, which is impact investment, to scale meaningful solutions in outcomes such as job creation, addressing...
So maybe we should understand what impact investment is first, because we know the word, but what really is it? Because every investment is supposed to make impact anyway.
True. Impact investment is a kind of investment that delivers social, let me add measurable social and environmental impact alongside financial returns. Some of the outcomes that impact investment should deliver in a country like Nigeria is one, addressing unemployment and underemployment, food shortages, insecurity, water, clean water, and hygiene, gender inequality, poverty, and providing basic services that government cannot provide, quality healthcare, quality education, and the like.
So who are the investors?
Impact investors are investors who have decided to have investment strategies that provide double bottom line, social and environmental impact alongside financial returns, and they cut across investors from the capital spectrum: private equity, venture capital, government, private individuals, foundations are some of the providers of impact capital.
So in Nigeria, how popular is this? How effective is it? Or are we just catching on?
Well, impact investing has been growing. The name was first coined in 2007 in Bellagio, Italy. People have been working in the space to build awareness in impact investment in Nigeria. IIF, Impact Investors Foundation, is one of them. So it's gaining ground. It is growing. Since we started in 2019, we've seen individuals, communities building and creating awareness around impact investors. Investors who didn't want to be known as impact investors because, one, there's a low awareness of what impact investment is. Impact investment feels like it's charity, is concessionary capital only, is below market rates. But the definition of impact investment, an investment that delivers social and environmental impacts, and the returns are from below market rate returns to market rate returns, above market rate returns, and all kinds of instruments can be used for impact investment. In Nigeria, yes, we are catching along. The awareness is growing, and impact investor has played a key role in creating awareness on impact investments. We've engaged with governments, built partnership with
When you engage with government, which of government, a ministry, federal, state, where does the engagement come from?
Government at all levels have a part to play in catalyzing the growth of impact investment in Nigeria. We've engaged with ministries, trade and investment. We're currently engaging with the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning. They are our champion arm supporting us in the Wholesale Impact Investment Fund.
Yeah.
Yes, they've committed 50% of the first close, which is, I think that is commendable for the government to do. The government has a role to play in legislating and also legitimizing impact investment. So when we have the government support, that is at one level. Other stakeholders we need to also engage with are your traditional investors, your institutional investors, private sector, pension funds.
But you have to give them incentives.
Oh, yes.
To get those investors to catch their attention.
So this is where policy comes in, right? To ease out regulations and to provide incentivizations to crowd in local capital and direct them towards sectors that are high impact and can deliver outcomes that, will be in partnership with the government to deliver jobs, to deliver basic services, quality healthcare, quality education, and the likes.
So this wholesale impact investment, you said we're working at least now with 100 million?
Yes, the first close would be 100 million, and Kuramo Capital is...
And you're supposed to do what?
Okay, good.
And who's supposed to get into it?
Thank you very much for asking that very important question. The Wholesale Fund is a fund and a market builder. The fund is designed to provide solutions that your traditional financial investments cannot solve. One, to provide access to finance to high growth, high impact businesses. Secondly, provide access to finance to local fund managers who know where these businesses are and can design instruments that meet the needs of the market. Secondly, we need a proliferation of local funds to participate in impact investment. The Wholesale Impact Investment is a local vehicle that can crowd in investment from local investors. Right. In the research we did in 2019, one of the things that international investors, complained about is that we do not have local capital matching with foreign capital come in. So, and there are not enough local vehicles that are attractive for local capital to come in. So the Wholesale Impact Investment Fund is positioned to attract local capital to also participate in impact investments.
But isn't it more difficult now in the country when macroeconomic indices are not looking friendly? MPR interest rate is high, cost of loans and funding is difficult. We're talking of petrol, we're talking of energy costs, transportation costs. So, even the real sector, these guys who are supposed to access these funds are reluctant to even take the step in the first place.
These things will always be with us, the macroeconomic challenges, but they will not always last. But it's important to start preparing now, to ensure that we cross all our T's, we dot all our I's, have this fund, get in local investors to invest in, and then start working towards a time that it can provide meaningful solutions to the economy. 2016, 2017, we saw a dip in impact capital. But as the economy bounced back, impact capital bounced back. So it will follow the macroeconomic indices. However, we must do what we have to do and establish this fund and address the challenges that traditional financing cannot solve.
So you have numbers as to impact investments at this time in the country and perhaps what we could do. You keep talking about local capital, matching the foreign one. Perhaps what could be done for that?
I mentioned earlier on policy. We need to have policy to incentivize local capital. Take, for instance, the pension funds. Pension funds, they have this huge amount of funds, sat down in asset under management in pension funds. Only 0.29% of that is going towards private equity, which is quite low. They can do much more, right? If the government is going to channel massive resources to address our SDG financing gap, which is valued at $10 billion annually to 2030, the government cannot do it on its own. You need to partner with the private sector. The Wholesale Impact Investment Fund gives an opportunity to the government to partner with the private sector and have policies to incentivize local investors to support innovative financial instruments like the Wholesale Impact Investment Fund. Just to add that we do not want to be the only fund in the market, but we are pioneering this fund to inspire other initiators to come up with innovative vehicles to resource our micro, small, and medium enterprises, because they are the engine room of growth and development in our country. Take for instance what they do, employing about 80% of the workforce, contributing 50% to the GDP. That's humongous. And this is our challenge across the continent, Africa, with the $331 billion financing gap for micro, small, and medium enterprises. We need to be innovative in our solutions. We can't use yesterday's problem or yesterday's finances to solve today's problem. It doesn't make sense.
So when you talk about getting investors interested, is it through the capital market? What's the vehicle?
Well, private market for now, with government, raising the first, the anchor fund, the first tranche, or contributing towards the first tranche. We have several stakeholders who have signified interest, and these are development finance institutions, a few private organizations. When we have follow-on fund, it would be great to see the capital market also providing support for innovative financial instrument like this.
I'm sure investors would just want to see if really, the finance or the fund is purpose-driven and achieved. I trust a lot of Nigerians who want to be, who also want to get on that. But we wish you the very best in this drive, trying to popularize impact investments in the country. Obviously, we do need it, especially when you look at the areas, environment, agriculture, and of course, small businesses being the engine room of the company. Thank you so much, Chief Executive Officer of the Impact Investors Foundation at Temere Global, for your time.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
You too.